Hey, good afternoon, Earl. How you doing today?
Oh, brother, I ain't never had a bad day in my life.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
Right
I'm
on.
I'm so I'm so excited to have this conversation with you today.
Right
I
on.
didn't tell you this, and I've been saying it for a couple weeks now. Just because I've done a poor job, Earl, at keeping track.
Right.
But you are officially the 100th person that I've interviewed.
Right on,
I've
baby.
done
Listen.
I've done 102 live streams, and I've done two by myself. But I've interviewed. You're the 100th person that I've interviewed since we started doing this.
Well, I'm honored, man, and congratulations to you because to me that don't just sound like a hundredth person. That sounds like perseverance, and when you're in anything, perseverance is the key to it, my friend.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, welcome to Lending with Purpose. This is conversations that we have with clients and friends, introductions to various forms of information, professionals like yourself, and resources that we use, we look for that we never knew existed or wanted to learn more about. And
Right
so,
on.
when I was thinking about this conversation today, I was like, so it goes a couple different ways. So I'm thinking, all right, we got Earl, Black Folks Camp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Earl, Black Folks Camp.
Yeah. Yeah.
Earl, for real, black folks
Yeah.
really count.
Yeah. Black folks camp too, baby. Black
Yeah,
folks camp too.
so it's amazing what you've done with that because I'm thinking about my life. I've only been I've been I don't know, you're gonna call it glamping. You'll laugh at me. So when
Yeah.
I was a kid, and so everything for us, I own a mortgage company. This thing is called Lending with Purpose. We're talking about home ownership.
Right.
And one of the beauties of owning a house is that you can do activities around your house and things like that. And so I remember, um, I used to go home with friends of mine from church on some Sundays, and when we didn't have a school the following week or in the summertime or something like that. I remember one specific time we camped out in their backyard.
Okay.
We had they pitched tents. They taught us how to do the tents and everything. One thing though is I never went camping again after that because
Mm-hmm.
some of the older neighborhood kids scared the heck out of us.
Right.
Uh,
Right. Right. So you
late
don't go in
night,
the woods, huh?
yeah, late night. They scared the heck out of us in the backyard, and so I wanted to talk about that with you
Yeah.
as well. But I was sitting here thinking about that, and I'm really excited about this conversation today because I know there's some stigmas around camping and campfires and things like that. I just recently I went to Atlanta. And
Hmm.
on Airbnb, someone had a camping trailer that they were renting, and it was
Oh
on a
yeah.
horse farm. And I did that, and it was a great experience. And so that's all I could talk about when I came home with my family, and and so I'm looking forward to having this conversation today. But before we get started, because I one thing in these 100 interviews, Earl, that I have not yet mastered is the art of the Steve Harvey introduction. And
All right.
so in lieu of that big introduction, I'm going to ask you to do it yourself because you're going to do a much better job than me. So tell us who you are, what you do, and then we'll get into it.
Right on. My name is Earl B Hunter Jr. I'm the founder and president of Black Folks Camp 2. Our job is to remove fear, add knowledge, and invite more Black folks to camp and enjoy the outdoor lifestyle with any and everyone. And while we do that, we create unity in the outdoors through our Unity Blaze message, which means treat everyone everywhere equally. It doesn't matter your race, your age, or your gender. And to add, we just may be the most delightful company in the world, to be frank with you. Right? We're very strategically sound. We're not just trying to get black folks in the outdoors. We want to get more black folks in the industry, not only just in the lifestyle, but in the industry. This $880 billion industry, which is the outdoor industry, and I'm so excited about it because we are going about it in a way that no one has ever done it, and which is seems a bit rare to folks, but the way we do it and the way we're doing it right now is garnering so much not only respect but garnering so much traction in our space.
That's awesome. Earl, where do you live?
So I live in the mountains of North Carolina. I'm very these mountains are very profound. So if you look at Western North Carolina near Asheville, is where I live. Have a home here, and we also have a place down in Atlanta. But I love the mountains of Western North Carolina because this is where peace is for me.
Oh wow! And were you? before you bought your home and you moved there, is did you know about this place, or did you buy? Are you living there specifically because of the outdoor
Well, it's
environment that it
funny you said it
offers?
because so I graduate. I'm an athlete and I play football at Appalachian State University, and so Appalachian State is just parallel to where I am, about an hour and a half across. So I didn't necessarily know about this area, which is the area I live in now. But when I purchased my home in this area, I'm glad I did, because this is a destination spot for a lot of reasons, and a lot of folks. This is a very desirable place to live, and so our home has jumped up in value enormously from where it was. And it, honestly, it is really, based on the history of buying homes in this area, the value holds its value amazingly because of where we are.
Oh wow! And then I remember when we first met, we were talking, and you mentioned around your house. Did you say something like 200 waterfalls, or is
Yeah,
that right?
in the area where we live, we have 250 waterfalls in a 2 mile radius, and we have. And the other thing is that we have trails, we have bike trails, we have hiking trail, bike trails, campgrounds. We have multiple, close to 100 camps in this area, like for young folks camps and things of that nature. So this area that we live in, that I live in, is so profound, it's so amazing. I tell folks we live in a rainforest. You're gonna get a trickle of rain almost every day. That's why it's so green. We have mountainous areas everywhere. Listen, this is an area that if you want to get a little activity, if you want to get a little peace, you can come here as well. You want to get a little mental, physical, emotional health, you can get it right here in these mountains.
That's awesome. And what? How did you get into camping in the outdoor world?
Well, it's funny. I tell folks, before I got into the outdoor industry, I was a Gucci, Louis Vuitton wearing, sports car driving, executive wearing Italian suits, flying all over the country, all over the world, to be frank with you. And I knew nothing about camping before I was 40 years old. I knew nothing about the industry. I knew nothing about anything in this space. And as a matter of fact, if you had asked me to go on a hike before 40, I would have told you to take a hike, right? Because I wasn't doing any of that. Well, I had an opportunity to come and to work for a company as the vice president of sales at a company entitled Sylvan Sport, and it was a company that made pop-up campers. And these pop-up campers was really dope, right? They were really small. They were very well made. I knew how well made they were because I was in an industrial industry that did a lot of welding. The product was so exquisite, and it was actually for a very high-end customer. And so when I saw the product, I thought that it was really dope. And I didn't understand what it was at first, but I knew that the world needed to see it, right? And so I had an opportunity to partner and to go into to be in this space and with that particular company, and we did some extraordinary things, to be frank with you. Some things that I don't think they even knew what we could do, but we did it.
Wow, wow. And then what was the first thing you ever did, like in regards to the outdoor stuff, like camping? Did you
Well,
like
the first thing
how'd you get started?
the first thing I did was to get started in the outdoors. I took that camper that I was about to go sell, and we took it in the outdoors to understand what it was. I had to understand the why. And I tell folks, in every business you get into, every business that you or whatever you do, you have to understand the why before you can get to the what, when, where, and how. And so for me, I tell folks, I tend to build businesses for a living. I love building businesses because I love businesses to be. I love to help measure business and also to have them to be sustainable. And to do that, you have to understand the why. And so once I understood the why, that on how to not only just sell the camper, but I needed to understand how it functioned and how it worked. And so I took it out on my first camping trip, and it was funny because I really didn't know what I was doing at all. No one had given me a blueprint at doing anything. I kind of figured it out based on what I thought in my mind. And it was just easier with this product because it made camping so much easier that I didn't have to necessarily sleep on the ground. It was pretty dope in that space. It was a little less of a camping, tent camping, more of a little glamping, a little less than a motorhome or an RV. So it was right in the middle. Good introduction, by the way.
I see, I see. And so since then, what has it evolved into for you? Like, are you outdoors with the two poles and you're doing treks and you're pitching your tent and you're
Let me tell
starting
you
your own
something.
campfires and
Let,
stuff like that?
let me tell you something. What that's done for me is now, I'm a backpacker too now. Like you're right. So I have the two poles, I have the hiking shoes, I got the backpack, and I've done those things so in 2019 actually 2020 was my first time ever going backpacking and really experiencing the mountainous ranges and things of that nature. It was my first time ever doing that. And I've fallen in love with it. Listen, being a former athlete, the one thing I know I can't do anymore, I can't go out and tackle folks like I used to do, right? I can't go out and hit people in the mouth like I love to do on the football field. So I've taken that energy to hitting these mountains, right? And climbing these mountains and really hiking these mountains. And I tell folks, you're gonna have to go through something to get to something, right? And I didn't know how to do any of that until someone introduced that to me. And once they introduced that type of camping, that type of outdoor experience to me as a former athlete, let me tell you, it was one of the most amazing things that ever happened. And I wanted to just share that knowledge with everybody, to be frank with you.
Is that how this came about though?
Well,
With the
actually,
Black
Black
Folks
Folks Camp
Camp
2
too,
came.
because of the blueprint in the intro?
Well, actually, Black Folks Camp 2 came about was, I always tell folks I was one of the only Black executives in the RV industry, which is a $114 billion industry at one point. I'd already, I had gone to all the RV shows, all the RV events, all the industry events, and being one of the only Black executives, really being one of the only Black folks at that time, close to 6 years ago. I saw this opportunity really of the question of why aren't we here, right? Why am I the only person? Why am I the only person at these RV shows? And so, the idea formulated with my son and so to go back some, the company that I had worked for, we were very small, and my job was to take us from a sub $1 million company to a $2 or $3 million company in about 4 years. And we actually went from a sub $1 million company in 4 years to about $17.5 million in revenue. And by doing that, though, is I spent a lot of time away from my family. I drove from North Carolina to Nova Scotia to BC to San Diego, and San Diego to Miami, and all in between we're opening up RV dealers. So I wasn't home very often. I wasn't flying to these places. I was driving with a trailer on the back, opening up RV dealers. Because of that, I wasn't home very often because you can't take your young children with you all the time because they were in school. And so I spent a lot of time away from my family. Well, my son came to me in 2017. He said, "Look, Dad, you said you're going to take me to Mount Rushmore and you haven't done it yet. So that means you said you talked that talk, but you hadn't walked that walk." So I told him the summer of 2017, I'm going to take him on this trip. And we end up driving all the way to BC, around the country, camping in the camper. And when we were doing that, we only saw one Black family camping, and they were camping in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And when I saw that, the young lady at the campground of that family, she challenged me. She said, "Hey, you told the story of you being one of the only Black executives in the industry. A lot of people in your family are not camping. Why don't you change that?" And at that particular time is when my mindset went to, we're going to not only change this from a lifestyle perspective, but we're going to change this also from an industry perspective, because I want to see more folks that look like me in this industry. And it just, Black Folks Camp 2, it was just boom, because we do camp, right? I just want to see more of us go camping, and I want to see more of us in the industry, and we're on our way to do that.
Right. And that's why I opened up the way that I did, because the title of your company has so many different meanings.
Mm-hmm.
And phrases, so to speak, in the way that you mention it or say it. Like I did it with a question mark, I
Mm-hmm.
did it with an exclamation point, I did it with a period. It was all different ways, and so that's really exciting to me. And then, as you can tell, I got your
Got that Unity Blaze, baby.
got the
Woo!
Unity Blaze on, and so let's talk about that and how it evolved. So, like, in this world that we live, we do understand that there's some inclusion that needs to happen in all different spaces, right?
Absolutely.
We also have to tread lightly too, because you don't want to necessarily alienate people
Right.
and
Well, we
things of that
don't.
nature. Yeah, and
Right.
how have you um overcome that and actually worked through that
Well,
as
I'm all
well?
about
So
educate.
that's the first question.
Well, number one, we're all about educating folks, right? We as a company, we spent over $250,000 just in data alone. right? To understand, I knew why I didn't go camping as a kid, and I grew up in the South. I knew why I didn't go camping. I knew why I didn't want to go camping. I knew why my great grandmother told me don't go camping. As a matter of fact, she didn't even mention going camping. She was just like, don't go in them woods, period.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
And because she was afraid to go in those woods because of generational fear, and she didn't have any knowledge because she was never invited to go. I was never invited to go, and I didn't want to go. And it was never on my mind. However, because I knew that, well, I wanted to make sure we quantize that. We actually had a good understanding, of mixing opinions versus facts. And so what we did as a company, we spent our money early on to get facts. And once we got the facts, we took out close to 400 folks, right? We took out teachers, doctors, lawyers, all types of folks in the Black community. And from 18 to 69-year-olds, we took these folks out. And a lot of folks, because of what we did, they think we're a group, and we're not, right? We're a business, and our business is very strategic. And what we did, we got that information from those folks, and then we surveyed thousands of other folks who looked like me, who had not been in the outdoors. And once we got that data and that understanding, we were now able to combat the issue. Well, one of the biggest issues that we found is that the current lifestyle, which is 95% white folks who love the outdoors, the people that love the outdoors, they didn't know the reason why Black folks hadn't been in the outdoors. And because if they didn't know the reason why Black folks had been in the outdoors, well, if they're also the same folks who are actually hitting the industry, they don't know how to get us in the outdoors. And so they don't really know how to market to us, don't really know how to understand how to take this thing to a next level to appease to folks who spend $1.3 trillion a year. And so for me, as a business, I want to make sure that those businesses who are in the outdoor lifestyle, in the outdoor industry, understand the reasons why we had never been in the outdoors. Many of us haven't, right? So, and I wanted to make sure that those businesses did this to encourage us into get into the outdoors, did it in a very sincere, a very meaningful, and a very measured, so it'd be a very sustainable way. Because at the end of the day, Shawn, my job is not to go around point the finger at folks why Black folks are not in the outdoors. My job is get folks to understand why we're not there, to encourage them to get us there, because that's all I care about, right? I don't have any. My heart and my fists are not made to go punching people in the mouth for the reason why we're not there. Because before I die, before I get out of here, I want to see more Black folks in the outdoors, and that's all I care about, bro. That's it. But
Right.
not only do I care about more Black folks in the outdoors, I care about more Black folks in the outdoors to be with any and everyone. I don't want us to be afraid to go in the outdoors. I don't want us to feel like we have to go in the outdoors with just Black folks. I want us to be able to go in the outdoors with any and everyone, particularly because we pay for 640 million acres of public land, right?
I just gotta chill. That's great. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
Um, I couple things because we talked before, and I just put your buddy Chris up, Chris
Right
Lasher.
on. What's up, Chris?
And so let's talk about this Unity Blaze. I
Right on.
love the story you told us about how it got started with your and if you could talk about it, the licensing that you do and things like that, and kind of how it's evolved, Earl.
Yeah.
I think it's very important for our listeners to hear about that
Yeah.
if you're willing to share it.
So it's funny, when we first started this company, I really knew nothing about the outdoors, or guiding or anything like that, or taking folks in the outdoors, but I knew we needed to get some data, and we have some very profound data that we know the industry doesn't have, right? Because and one of the reasons why the industry doesn't have a lot of this data because they hadn't taken the steps on how to get this data, and some of the folks in the industry never did really wanted this data because it's ugly, right? It's ugly at the fact that when you look at 2% of Black Americans don't really even know, have never really, only about 2% have ever gone to a national park, right? That's really ugly data, right? When you have folks that look like me who have been in this country and loving this country and paying for 640 million acres of public land, we don't know anything about it. And I didn't know anything about it. So I saw an individual, or met an individual at the Outdoor Economy Conference in 2019. His name is Steve Reinhold. I met Steve Reinhold as a person who was actually a person who wanted to come on board and help us drive the business, right? I don't think at the time he really knew what we were, right? But he jumped on the boat to really paddle with us. And during that time while he was with us and we were going out, taking folks out in the outdoors, the campfire on our logo has always been the center of everything that we do, because we believe that the campfire is the oldest form of light, heat, gathering, and cooking. And so if we're going to stand on anything, it doesn't matter your race, your age, or your gender, the campfire is where it is. Well, Steve was very integral in having this conversation about this campfire. And so we were kind of out while we were out camping and enjoying the outdoors. We talked about the campfire and what it meant. And, you know, Steve had the idea of we should have this campfire collection. And I was like, yeah, but I like that, but I like the Unity Blaze better, right? And so I actually came up with this beautiful name of the Unity Blaze, right? And so because it has a circle around it, it's the campfire within our logo. We trademarked it. It's beautiful. And the bottom line is the Unity Blaze means treat everyone everywhere equally, right? Treat everyone everywhere equally. It don't say just treat Black folks, white folks, Hispanic folks, Asian folks, Hispanic folks, white folks. It says everyone everywhere equally. It doesn't say, it doesn't matter your race, your age, or your gender. And when you embody that, to me, that is the most amazing thing ever. If we can treat folks that way, and we can use that model into the outdoors, which is the outdoor industry and lifestyle, really the most segregated industry and lifestyle in the world, to be frank with you, or at least one of them. And so I want to make sure that folks know when they see that blaze, when they see that Unity Blaze, they know that that person is telling the world that they treat everyone everywhere equally. And yes, we license that out to different companies and different groups, because it is now becoming the symbol of unity in the outdoor community and beyond, period. Right? Yeah.
That's awesome. I know listening to you talk about reasons why. I've done a ton of experiences in my life, been a lot of places, but I'll be honest with you. I haven't spent much time like outdoors and national parks and things like that. One of the reasons why I think too is you mentioned earlier blueprint,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrote down intro, and so those are some of the reasons why I think I haven't gone, is just because I don't know how to.
Right. You don't have the
And
knowledge.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't have the knowledge, and some of the
Mm-hmm.
people in my circle don't either.
Right.
Have the knowledge to do it.
Yep. Yep.
All walks of life. And so how important is it to have knowledge? Like, because
Look,
it sounds like you wouldn't have never done it if someone wouldn't have introduced you to it either and kind of walk you through the steps.
this is matter of fact, listen, the most important thing that we can do to folks is educate folks, right? We as a company, we have to educate the industry on why Black folks hadn't been in the outdoors. Once we educate the industry on why we hadn't been there, now they can get to the what, when, where, and how, right? Right. For the past, before we came along, the industry, I always say, before we came along, a lot of times the industry was just doing what they thought was right. They were doing what they thought was right. And honestly, it really didn't move the needle at all. It really didn't move the needle past where it should be moved to get more folks to want to love the outdoors as adults. And so for me, the knowledge comes from being able to, yeah, we want to be able to share information with through our digital education initiative, where we're teaching folks about the outdoors from the lifestyle perspective. We also want to be able to, we are also teaching the industry. But see, the Unity Blaze, what it does is, what I tell folks is, it gives folks a way to do something that they probably never thought they should do, right? And to have communication with people, to have conversation with folks. For example, one of the greatest ways we think that we can cure this issue of inviting more Black folks into the outdoors and getting us more information is the very same folks who love the outdoors the most, which is 95% white folks, to go find them some Black friends and encourage them to go and give them that knowledge, right? Because many of us as Black folks, we don't know what to do. And there are not enough groups, not enough clubs out there that make up, that look like me, to even get enough of us out there to enjoy this. So we figured, let us all get in the boat together. Doesn't matter your race, your age, your gender. If you love the outdoors, go find somebody who does not love the outdoors. Find somebody who doesn't know about it. And now you have their attention, invite them in and give them that knowledge and share that knowledge with them, right? Knowledge they couldn't get out of a book. This knowledge they couldn't get from our website, they can get from friends who take them out in the outdoors. One of the biggest problems is, though, many folks don't want to have friends, don't have friends that look like me. So I want those same people who love the outdoors the most to go find people that look like me and encourage them same people in your neighborhood that work on your job. But it's hard for those folks to do that too when they don't know the reasons why we don't go. Because, you know, we're quick to tell you that we're scared of bugs in the outdoors now. Because I know you heard that quite a bit, right?
Yeah. I was just thinking about that too as well with with my, not to call her out, but my wife. She would be quick to say that, and my daughter. Too
Yeah.
many bugs. I'm not doing
Well,
it, and
well, here's the
mosquitoes,
thing,
and
Shawn.
yeah,
Listen, check this out. The same bugs on your deck when you having a cookout are the same bugs
yeah.
who piss the forest where I live, bro. Right? The
Absolutely,
same bugs.
absolutely right.
But because we don't have any knowledge of that, right? Because we don't have any knowledge of that, we not hadn't been shared with us, right? And we don't know because camping and the outdoor industry hadn't been a part of our culture for the most part, right? And I get this quite a bit. People, particularly black folks, they'll say to me, "Yo, Earl, I've been camping," and I say, "Good." That means it says black folks camp too. So I know we've camped before. We're just trying to get more black folks to go camping and enjoy the outdoor lifestyle with any and everyone, right?
Right. No, that's amazing. It's a good way to bridge the gap too as well culturally, to bring some
Absolutely.
cultural competence. So I love what you're doing. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I know you're a busy guy, but I did the reason why I'm here, like I mentioned earlier, is to introduce folks like yourself to the network because people need to hear about these
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
and that you're doing. And so yeah, I really do appreciate you coming on today. Before we wrap up, tell us how we can help you, number one, and then also how we can get in touch with Black Folks Camp too.
Yeah, let me share this with you first, Shawn. You know, people would
Sure.
say, why is a person, running a mortgage company, or why is it important for you to have this conversation with Earl at Black Folks Camp 2? Listen, when you buy an RV, it's similar to buying a house, right? You're going to have that same type of information that you're going to need. Well, we need the RV. We have a program for the RV industry, right? And it's pretty profound. It's a learning program, a teaching program, to teach them to understand that, many black folks have gone through redlining in the housing industry, and
Yeah.
that redlining has caused us to have a lot of fear when it comes to giving our information out. When it comes to buying houses, we're buying houses and buying big RVs and things of that nature. It's similar. I want the RV dealers, the industry that I came from, to understand this before they have this conversation with folks who look like me. So when you have some apprehension, you'll understand where that's coming from, right? So it doesn't look like we're just kicking tires or we're not educated about this. They'll know that before we get there. The second thing is that, we have some amazing partners, man. We have some amazing partners, not only just globally, but also in North, South Carolina, Virginia, and all places, man. We just finished up an amazing tour with a great company, a great outdoor provision down in North Carolina and Virginia, man. They're 9 retail stores, and we train these folks on our unity in the outdoor community and beyond message, right? Getting their staff to understand this is why, getting them to understand the reasons why they haven't seen folks that look like me buying their gear, buying those things. We're the same folks that will buy apparel, but we're just not buying outdoor apparel. And I want those folks in those retail spaces to understand this, to understand why we haven't been, so they can pivot on their marketing strategy on how to get us there. But the last thing in that, though, is that as a company, Shawn, you can reach out to us at blackfolkscamp2.com. We will tell you straight up, we are a for-profit business, right? We want to tell folks that, because we believe that we are sincere, we're meaningful, we are very measured, and we're going to be very sustainable. And we as a staff, I tell my staff this all the time. We're not apologetic for being a for-profit company. We're very excited about that, because we want to let businesses know that, listen, we want to show you how to be more profitable by going to casting the net and get you a new customer, a customer that you don't even know. And we're going to help you know that customer. At the same time, on the advocacy side, we also are going to help more black folks learn and understand how amazing the outdoor lifestyle and the outdoor industry is. We got a lot of stuff coming down the line, man. We partner with a ton of companies that we haven't even announced yet. And we have some amazing partnerships that are happening. And so folks can reach out to us at blackfolkscamp2.com. You can reach us via email at info@blackfolkscamp2.com. We always tell folks we're not the only company. We're not the best company in the world when it comes to this, but we hadn't found anybody to do it better than we do yet, right? And so we're excited about it.
You're headed there. You're headed there for sure. I based on what you said, like the education is huge, is very key. And so
Absolutely.
for me, it was a no brainer for me to have you on. I have clients that are relocating, like, based on the pandemic,
Hmm.
the idea of being able to work remotely. Folks have spent so much time indoors too as well, and they want to share these experiences like you did with your son and get
Yeah.
out in the outdoors. And so, for someone like yourself, I guarantee the next
Right.
house that you buy is
Hmm.
going to be somewhere close to an outdoor facility or some sort of an activity, right? I call it a
Well, right on.
facility, but a national park or just some nature part that draws you in.
But Shawn, even at that though, you have a lot of folks in between housing or trying to locate another house. Maybe they sold their home and couldn't find another one. That maybe those folks want to go buy RVs, right? To live in those RVs for a year or so until they get their house built. This happens all the time. Folks, they buy homes or they sell their home and they go purchase RVs to live in. Well, I want Black folks to know there's an option for them to do that as well, right? So they can actually you can experience the outdoors. You have traveling nurses that look like myself, to be able to stay in a motorhome or stay in a fifth wheel or stay in a travel trailer, or even people who just want to go out and enjoy the outdoors. That this doesn't have to be a suffer fest for you to go enjoy the outdoors, right? This can be a rest and relaxation. You know, the other thing is to this is that it's very profound since we're in this business sector. Like I'm not a kumbaya guy when it comes to this. I'm an ROI guy, right? And ROI for us, for a lot of folks, mean return on investment. For us, it's return on inclusion. And we coin that word and we own that. And at the end of the day, if we get a true return on inclusion and we get more people enjoying the outdoors, we get more people wanting to take care and be ambassadors to the outdoors, where the outdoors would be better and the industry would be better for it, right? So listen, it's a win-win for everyone. And then we all get around this campfire and we'll start having some conversation, which is the unity blaze. And we're going to find out we got more same than differences, my friend.
Earl, one person, one question. Who would it be and what would you ask?
One person, one question. Well, my son, man, my son, my 12-year-old son, I got to put two, my 12-year-old son and my 9-year-old daughter. I want to ask my 9-year-old daughter and my 12-year-old son to go camping with me forever, And I want the answer to be yes, because the greatest thing that I can do, Shawn, I'm 46 years old, man, and I've had an amazing life. I've done amazing things in business. I've accumulated some wealth for myself, for my kids. But the one thing, when I get out of here, nobody's going to care about that. I want folks to remember that that as a company, as a man, that I help remove fear, added knowledge, and invite more Black folks to camp and enjoy the outdoor lifestyle with any and everyone. And we create a unity in the outdoors. And I want my children to have the opportunity to enjoy the outdoors with your children. And I want them to carry on that legacy, man. So we can do that with everyone's children. And that is my thing. And I just hope they are able to share this message with everyone, my friend.
They'll say yes
Right on.
for now until they
For
become
now.
teenagers.
Well, see, here's the thing, Shawn. Here's the thing now. The bottom line is that, the data shows now that the parents who take their children out in the outdoors now, those children are 86% more likely to love the outdoors as adults. And so if I continue to take my children out in the outdoors, they'll love the outdoors. And not only will they have a chance to love the outdoors adults, well, when they're adults, they become consumers in the outdoors. And now
Yeah.
they become folks who want to vote to make sure the outdoors is amazing, right? So it behooves me as a parent to make sure that happens, right? So
Hey, so everybody, it would be such a shame that I have these relationships like Earl and the network and not expose you and give you an opportunity to hear this information. It was great content today, Earl. We really appreciate it. If I can ever do anything to help anyone, please don't hesitate to reach out. I want everybody to stay as safe and as healthy as they possibly can. Earl, I'll ask you to just hang on with me for a couple more minutes
right
after I
on.
close out. But thank you for your time, and everybody, thanks for tuning in. We'll be back here next week. And
Go get that
thank you
Unity
again,
Blaze,
Earl.
blackfolkscamp2.com, baby. The Unity Blaze, the patches and the stickers and the t-shirts and all that stuff. Let's
The
change the world.
t-shirt.
Show the world that you treat everyone everywhere equally, baby.
Let's see the front of your t-shirt real quick. Lean back.
Woo.
There we
Black
go.
Folks Camp 2, baby. I wear it every day. I'm the best walking billboard you ever find.